Hey everybody, Jeremy here. And what you're looking at is one of the latest interests of mine that I am going to undertake. Now, this is called an Aerogarden, and it is an indoor gardening platform. And it lets you grow vegetables and herbs inside of your house without any soil and without any real knowledge of gardening. This is something that's been around for years, but I just found out about it last week. And here are some of the things that came with this. Now, this is the Elite Harvest model, and I got it in stainless steel. Home Depot had a sale on these, and I got this one for like half off. So it was around like 80 something dollars when I got it, and normally it sells for about double that. So that's why I had picked this up. And here are some of the things that comes with the Aerogarden. Of course, you got the base, we'll get into that. They also give you this liquid plant food that you have to put into the Aerogarden every 2 weeks or so, and it gives you instructions based on the model that you have here. And then it also came with some gourmet herb seed pods. Now, they sell a whole bunch of different seed pods, but this is just the one that came with it. And then inside of here, it tells you the type of herbs that you'll be able to grow. We got Genovese basil, dill, mint, thyme, curly parsley, and Thai basil. I didn't use all of these, but you can just kind of look at the picture there and it gives you a sense of what this is. Basically, they have these so they got this growing medium that basically looks like dirt right there, but I don't believe it is. And they have seeds already inside of it. And then you just simply insert those into the Aerogarden reservoir. I put some plant food in there. And at this point, we just wait. We just wait. Now down here at the bottom, it's computerized, so when I first started it up, I set the time and I let it know what I'm growing in here, and then it automatically is going to adjust the amount of sunlight or artificial sunlight that these plants are going to be getting. So it's going to be on for like 17 hours a day or so. It's LEDs. You can't see it on camera. Well, yeah, you can. There it is. You see that we've got some regular white, blue, and red LEDs. And that's going to simulate sunlight, so you don't have to worry about actually putting these outside or anything. Inside of here is the reservoir, and that's where you fill everything up with water. And then that's also where you put the plant food. Now, there's a pump in there, and that pump operates for 5 minutes, and then it shuts off for 25 minutes. And I guess that's just going to help to create like oxygen bubbles and whatnot for everything to grow. So what I am growing here is Thai basil. I've got curly parsley, and then back there is dill. You're probably wondering, why is there tape over these other ones? Well, because it's not recommended that you leave these open. So some people have resorted to putting tape in there, and then they also sell some plant spacers that you can put in there as well. And some people just kind of have extra extra little seed pods like this, except there's nothing in it, and then they use that to sort of fill in that gap. I'm using tape, and I also have some lettuce coming tomorrow, so I'm going to put the pods inside of the 3 there, so it won't be like this for long. So yeah, this is going to grow in my living room, and growing things this way hydroponically grows things 5 times faster according to them, as opposed to putting it in the dirt outside. And once everything starts to grow up, I'll be able to get some fresh herbs and vegetables from right here in my living room to use inside of the kitchen. So I'm going to keep an eye on this and just kind of give you updates here and there about how everything is working out. But yeah, so anyway, that's my latest fascination. A freaking Aerogarden. Who would have thunk it? One other thing that I want to mention, for the special sale that Home Depot had on these, this particular kit also came with this Aerogarden seed starting system that will allow you to start growing things inside of the Aerogarden and then transplanting them into the dirt outside or into other pots. Just basically another medium where you're not going to be growing it inside the Aerogarden itself. So I think that that was a nice little bonus along with everything else that came with it. So here's everything that you get inside of it. There are 23 individual places for you to put seeds. And as you can see, all of these have holes in them at the top where you can drop your seeds for whatever it is that you might want to plant. And then you can put that inside of the Aerogarden. There's instructions on how to do that because it's not exactly like how it is when you're putting already pre-seeded pods into it. So it's a little bit different. And then they also give you some more plant food. Now this contraption has all of these little pods here. They are connected to the base. So they are connected there. They do not come off, but it's cool that you also get more plant food to go along with it. Now, I don't really think that I'm going to be having, I don't really think I'm going to be using this, at least not right now. That's not my intention, but it is very good to know that I do have that option. And the fact that this came with the regular Aerogarden as part of a bundle, it was just a little bit more value than what you would normally get with this kind of system. So it's the very next day from the first video, and as you can see inside of my Aerogarden, I got the lettuce planted in there now. So we got three different types. We've got Marvel of Four Seasons, we've got Paris Island, and over there in the back we have Deer Tongue. All these are expected to sprout between 4 to 8 days, so that is pretty fast. And then the other ones that I already showed you guys in the last video, the Thai basil, curly parsley, and dill. Of course, nothing is happening because it's only been like a day. But I did want to give you an update because I took the tape off of those three holes up there. So there you go. The machine says that it's one full day of planting with 13 days left before I have to put more plant food in there. So that is it. Actually, let me show you what came in here. See, I had got this, the heirloom salad greens. I got this because they also have a salad greens kit, but I've heard that all those greens are the same and these are different. So I showed you the ones that I already had in there, and some other ones that come with this is black seeded Simpson, as well as red sails, and then lastly Rogue Diver, the Ivor, I don't know. They're all within 48 days for sprout time. But yeah, I just got these three in here. So that's it. Gonna come back when we got some action. Hello everybody. We are on day 4 of my Aerogarden, and we've got some action. Let's bring this up. And as you can see, we've got some sprouts starting to form. It's kind of hard to see over the dome, but you can see that right there. That deer tongue lettuce is starting to come in. And then on top, we have another little sprout, and that's the Marvel Four Seasons. And then you can see the Paris Island starting to come in over there. And then over here on the herbs and spices side, the Thai basil is starting to come in. You can kind of see that about right there. You can see that little bit of a sprout. And the others, and I can't see any action from the curly parsley or the dill quite yet. Those do have a germination time of between 8 and 21 days. So maybe we'll start to see them soon enough. But the cool thing about the lettuce is the lettuce had a sprout time of 4 to 8 days, and this is day 4. However, as you remember, I planted these a day after I got the Aerogarden. So this is actually day 3 for the lettuce and day 4 for everything else. But all the lettuces have started to sprout, and they've gotten bigger since I've seen them this morning. So yeah, we've got ourselves some progress. So I'll be back once we get a little bit more growth. This is day 6 of my Aerogarden grow, and let's take a look at the progress of some of these plants. See now the lettuce there, you see that deer tongue? That deer tongue has sprouted a bunch more leaves since the last time we saw it. And then over here, We can see the Marvel of Four Seasons that has more leaves on it as well. And the Paris Island is starting to get taller and it's coming up towards the dome now. And then over on this side, the Thai basil is getting a little bit taller, but not a whole lot to talk about. And then the curly parsley and the dill back there, I don't think they have started yet. Germination time is usually 8 to 21 days, so we're still waiting on that. But the deer tongue and the Marvel Four Seasons, those are coming along very, very nicely. So once again, this is day 6, and let's just take a look inside the reservoir. You see there's still, the water is pretty much still filled up to the top. So we don't need to worry about that. 8 more days for plant food, and I will come back when we have even more growth. Today is day 8 of the Aerogarden Grow, and we have reached a milestone because it is time to take the dome off of one of these plants, and that's going to be the Marvel of Four Seasons. As you can see, it's gotten so tall, it's almost touching the top, so it's time to take that dome off. We're going to do that, but let's just look at the progress if we can through the bubbles. There's the deer tongue. It's growing, getting taller. There's Paris Island. That's also getting taller. Not as many leaves, but it is getting taller. And then over here, there's the Thai basil, which is almost through the hole. I cannot tell if the curly parsley or the dill has started to sprout yet. I cannot tell. This is the minimum amount of days needed for that to happen. But now let's just take off the dome. And there it is. Marvel of Four Seasons. Now remember, I put the lettuce in a day after I got the Aeroguard, so this is technically day 7 for the lettuce, and that is how big it has gotten. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on the rest of these. The other plants seem to be growing wider than taller, so we'll wait for them to get to the dome, and then we'll take those off. I'm also going to be keeping an eye on a couple of those herbs over there. It's now day 11 of the Aerogarden Grow, and let me show you what's going on. Got some interesting things happening. So I took the dome off of the Thai basil. As you can see, it's growing. There's a little, probably can't see it, but there's another little sprout down at the bottom. No sign of any action yet from the curly parsley or the dill. 8 to 21 days, so we just have to ride that out. Over here is where it kind of gets a little bit interesting. Let me just start right here. So the Marvel of Four Seasons has seen better days. Right after I took the dome off, it started to lose some of its luster, and then it started to develop what looks like burned edges around its tips. And I'm not too sure what's quite going on with that. So it just kind of looks somewhat unhealthy. I've looked up a lot of different things about what it could possibly be, and I'm not too sure if it had gotten too warm or anything. I tried to put ice cubes inside of the water to kind of cool it down a bit, even though it wasn't really all that cold. But I'm not too sure. Maybe it was a shock to the plant. When I took the dome off, I did take it off when the light was on. But I don't know. Hopefully, it'll still bounce back. It looks like it has grown a bit since, starting to lose some of its shine, but we'll keep an eye on it. Meanwhile, the Paris Island lettuce is doing pretty good. I took the cap off this when the light was off. It's been less than a day since I've done that, but that's looking pretty good. And then lastly, we have the deer tongue lettuce, which has had the cap off for a little more than a day. And I also took the cap off this when it was when the light was off. And it's doing pretty good. Not really seeing a lot of burning around the tips, and it seems to be maintaining its color pretty good. So yeah, it might just be growing pains. We'll sit back and we'll see what happens. We still have 3 days left before more plant food has to be added to it. So I'm just going to continue to monitor the water, and if it gets a little bit warm, maybe drop another ice cube or two in there, because I think that the lettuce appreciates that. And yeah, that's it. So I'll come back with another update. Good morning. It is day 13 of the Aerogarden Grow. One more day before I need to add more nutrients to the reservoir. But let's see what we have going on. The light is currently off. It should come on very soon. But let's just take a look at what we have going on. Now, this is the Thai basil. Now, of course, it has gotten taller since the last time we've seen it. And I also freed up another sprout that was being just sort of blocked by the label. So I got in there with like a skewer and I pulled it out. So those are doing good. You got a little sprout down there that's trying to come up. And then of course we have these other ones here as well. Thai basil seems to be doing all right. Curly parsley and dill, still nothing from those guys. Moving over here to the lettuce, and the lettuce is doing all right. The Marvel of Four Seasons, as you can see, you can't even read the label anymore, really. So it has gotten taller. Those burnt tips that I was talking about in the last video, it seems to have pretty much worked itself out. The coloration that you see on it, Marvel of Four Seasons has like a bit of a red, almost like a burgundy hue. So I believe that those colors are just starting to come in, and it is actively growing. So whatever shock it experienced when I took the dome off seems to have gotten over it. So that is awesome. Over here, Paris Island hasn't given me any issues at all. No burnt tips, no discoloration or anything. So that is doing really well. And then lastly, we've got the deer tongue back here. Deer tongue does have a little bit of some burned tips going on back there. Not too bad, but it is still growing very well. You see it's getting nice and tall, nice and full. So yeah, they seem to be doing pretty good so far. Just need to see what's going to happen with that dill and that parsley. Maybe we need to take it all the way to the full 21 days. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But the lettuce is definitely starting to look lettucey, if that makes any sense. But anyway, I will come back later with another update. Welcome to day 15 of the Aerogarden Grow. So I put more nutrients in here yesterday, 2 capfuls inside of the reservoir. Let's take a look at some of the progress. And look at how big the lettuce has gotten. Lettuce is looking really good. Marvel of Four Seasons with the awesome comeback, getting taller, getting fuller. And Paris Island over here is branching off like a little island. That leaf at the bottom has just stretched out across the Aerogarden, and that label is completely covered. So that just continues to grow like a delicious weed. And then over here, we have our deer tongue. Those bottom leaves, you know, those had the little burnt tips, but the new growth, the taller growth, is looking green and vibrant and amazing. Now, coming over to look at the herbs, you can see that the Thai basil is growing very well. It had a bit of a slow start, but once it got going, it really got going. We got another little sprout, or we got a couple of leaf sets down there that's trying to get out of the circle part of our seed pod. So that continues to grow, starting to look like a little tree. And then if we can just peek down there, you can see that the curly parsley has just breached the opening of the seed pod, and it is actively growing. Our good friend Dill over there, we're still waiting on him. We're not going to give up on you yet, Dill. But yeah, that's what we got going on here. Really good growth. Feeling great about this. And yeah, see you again in another update. Day 17. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Starting over here with the lettuce, we've got some more growth from all sides. Paris Island has just taken off. It is just extending into the space where the Marvel Four Seasons is, and it just continues to just branch out. So that's doing great. Marvel Four Seasons, of course, getting taller and taller. And then over here in the back, the deer tongue. Look at that leaf. It's all that that really does look like a deer's tongue. That's awesome. But yeah, this plant is definitely is getting taller. It's getting taller, and eventually we'll need to raise the light, but not yet. Though it's not quite that time. Thai basil, still continue to grow. Um, Looking a little slanted to the right, but no big deal. But it is continuing to grow. Curly parsley, I'm not sure, you probably can't see it under the dome, but it is growing. It's past the opening in the grow dome. So it's just getting taller, and we'll take it off when it gets to the top almost. And then nothing from dill. I did open up the dome and take a peek inside, and there's nothing going on there. So I don't think that the dill is going to grow. And if it doesn't, I'll just give Aerogarden a call, because they will replace pots that don't germinate for free. So I just have to figure out what I'm going to put in dill's place. All right, so that is it, and I'll see you in another update. Day 18 of the Aerogarden Grow. Some interesting things have happened over the past couple days. Let me just bring this back and show you what is going on here. So the lettuce is exploding. And because the lettuce is exploding, you see like it's reaching out towards the sides. And it's starting to grow beyond where the light can really start to, shine down upon it. So I decided to take some aluminum foil and just tape it along the side of the light, so that it can act as a bit of a reflector. So if you kind of take a look at this leaf here, see when I move this up, it gets kind of shady. Then I bring this back down, and then it just sort of it reflects the light back, basically. And so that's what I'm doing there, and I'm hoping that any of the little leaves that might be buried down in there that aren't getting as much light will start to, benefit from the reflectors. And then the same thing along this side. Now, even though the only thing that's growing over here outside of the dome is the Thai basil, I'm going to take the grow dome off of the curly parsley once the light goes off, because that's ready to come off. The dill hasn't grown at all. I don't think it's going to. So yeah, I'm hoping that this reflector is going to help some of the leaves along this side of the plant, so that it can have some pretty healthy growth. Now, another thing that happened yesterday is that we had a power outage due to a storm and some high winds, and it knocked the Aerogarden out, of course. When the power came back on some 6 to 7 hours later, the cycle that I had it set on was still there. The time wasn't correct, but it still had the accurate amount of days that I've been growing in the amount of days left for the plant food. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's something that all Aerogardens do, just sort of commit that to memory, but I'm glad this model does, because I was a little bit worried about how that was going to turn out. So if you get one of these, it's a good idea to keep a manual note of where you are in this cycle, just in case you lose power and the Aerogarden does not remember where you left off. So yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. Pretty soon we're going to start harvesting some of this lettuce and be able to make some good old salads out of it. But I want to give it a little bit more time to grow. And yeah, I will come back with another update. See you then. Day 20 of Aero Gardening. Let's see what we got here. Whoa. More aluminum foil. Trying to reflect some of that light back onto the Thai basil specifically. So let's just move this out the way. See what we have going on. There's that Thai basil. It's getting taller and taller and taller. If I wanted to, I could prune it at this point, but I'm not going to. If I would, I'll get it like right there at that little section to cut that top part off. But I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to let that continue to grow. Check out the curly parsley. Took the dome off and it's getting taller. Dill is not going to grow. I'm pretty sure of it. So what I'm going to end up doing after the 21st day is I'm going to take the dill out and I'm going to take the curly parsley and put it back there. Because as you can see, the lettuce keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I worry that this is eventually going to crowd the curly parsley and start blocking the light. I have taken a couple of leaves off of this lettuce and just eaten them, you know, kind of like something like this. How it's just sort of hanging down, is not getting much light, is getting very limp. I'll probably take this off right now, right where I got you on camera. So you see, like, it's got like right there. So I'll just reach back there and pinch that off and eat it. And guys, I gotta tell you, it tastes like lettuce. It tastes like just regular plain old lettuce. I mean, give me a break. It's not like candy or anything. But, you know, you get a little fruit salad going on, a little Italian dressing. That can be pretty good. It does not taste bitter. But, yeah, it's continuing to grow. And the deer tongue lettuce, I picked off one of those because it was growing, like, out towards there. So I just went ahead and I picked out one of those. So that's how that's doing. So, yeah. We continue to have some pretty good growth, and harvest time for a bowl of salad is going to be coming very, very soon. But that's it for now. I'm going to close this back to reflect some of the light back on those other plants, and I'll see you in another update. Today is day 21, 3 whole weeks of Aerogarden growing, and let's just take another look. All right, so let's lift that up. Cool thing about the Thai basil going on right now is that it's starting to be straighter. It was leaning to the right a lot, but now it's starting to come more to center. And I'm not sure if that's because of the reflected light, so it's sort of balancing itself or not, but it is getting taller and it is getting a little bit straighter. The lettuce is doing what it does. I think it's about time to harvest some of these and just have a little light salad, just to thin it out a bit. And looking over here at the curly parsley, I mean, as you can see, the lettuce is threatening to just cover it completely. So yeah, we're definitely going to pick some of those off, and I'll show you what that looks like. Meanwhile, dill has not grown at all. Let's just take this off and show you what's going on in here. Well, you can't really, you see like there's like nothing going on in there at all. So the dill did not germinate. We're going to have to contact Aerogarden so that we can get a replacement. And one thing I'm sort of wondering about that is, whatever I replace it with, I think I'm just going to wait until it's time to add more nutrients, because I don't want to put a fresh seedling inside of here and then a week later put more nutrients in there, because I feel like that's going to be a bit too much for it. So I'm going to leave the dill in there for now, and then in a week when we add more nutrients, then that's when we'll put another one in there. So yeah, that is it. Let's make a little salad. It is day 27 of my Aerogarden, and I think that this is going to be the final update for this little experiment. Let me show you what we have going on here. So, as you can see, the lettuce has thinned out significantly because it's been eaten. Especially the Marvel of Four Seasons right here, that was like the biggest that we had, and we've pretty much eaten the whole thing, and it's starting to grow back. And over here, as we look at our thyme, some of the leaves look a little bit brownish, but some of them, like this one here, is looking pretty healthy. I did prune it. I cut it off at that little section right there. And if we can go around to the curly parsley, is continuing to grow and get taller. The dill never grew at all. And then around the back, this is the deer tongue. We've taken from all of these lettuce plants, and you see some of them have little brownish tips right there, mostly for some of the older leaves. So we're going to have to pick those off and eat them. And then Paris Island has some of the biggest leaves like this one. Yeah. So I think it's time to thin this one out a little bit more too. But that is pretty much it. So what I'm going to do now, since tomorrow I have to add more nutrients, I'm going to empty out all the water in here. I'm going to put fresh water in, more nutrients, and then I'm going to replace the dill with another type of lettuce, probably that black-seeded Simpson. So this is going to be mostly lettuce grown in this Aerogarden. So I hope you all enjoyed this little chronicling of the lettuce growing and the herbs and this whole Aerogarden experience. It's really been really interesting to try, and I like it, and I'm going to continue to use it, and I hope that they can come out with some more vegetables and herbs that we'll be able to grow in this thing in the future. So that is it. Thank you all so much for watching this, and until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I will talk to you later.